Deputy Leader Gaurav Gogoi has moved an adjournment motion, demanding an immediate discussion on what he terms serious vulnerabilities in India's electoral rolls. Slamming the deletions and irregularities in voter lists, Gogoi warned that these flaws now threaten the very foundation of free and fair elections. At a time when public faith in institutions is already strained, these irregularities raise grave questions about the authorities' commitment to upholding the democratic mandate. The Congress MP stated in his notice, with the opposition intensifying its attack on the Election Commission, the Speaker will now decide whether to admit the motion and suspend regular business for the debate. I have Anand Singh and he is joining me live from Vijay Chowk. Anand, what more can you tell us?
Yeah, Vaishali, look, the way in which Gaurav Gogoi has also moved a notice in which he has clearly mentioned about the vulnerabilities in the electoral rolls, and he mentioned that how at a time when the free and fair elections that need to be discussed, and the way in which the questions are being raised on the electoral rolls. So clearly, this is one of the issue that the Congress party has taken up. So clearly, Gaurav Gogoi in his adjournment motion notice, he has mentioned that how when questions are raised on the institution, so it is time when the government must discuss this electoral reforms and SIR issues. So clearly the opposition members are now raising up the issue of the special intensive revision of the exercise of the voter rolls taken up by the poll panel in 12 states and UTs in the second phase. So clearly most of the opposition members, they have submitted adjournment motion notices in the lower house as well as in the upper house to target the government and to press for their demand for or discussion on the electoral reforms as well as the SIR exercise. So clearly the opposition is not going to leave this issue, as yesterday also we saw that how on the very first day of the winter session the opposition members created ruckus and raised slogans inside the Lok Sabha, and following which the entire day in the Lok Sabha was washed out, whereas even in the Rajya Sabha the opposition members have staged walkout. So clearly the opposition members will be raising this issue once again today in Parliament on the second day. Back to you.
All right, Anand, stay on with me. Now Lok Sabha, we have a Lok Sabha update. Congress MP Manikam Tagore has tabled an adjournment motion calling for suspension of all House business to debate what he describes as a national crisis in electoral roll, integrity and gross mismanagement of the special intensive revision process. Tagore has accused the Election Commission of large-scale arbitrary deletions and flawed voter list revisions that risk disenfranchised lakhs of legitimate voters ahead of crucial elections. With the opposition stepping up pressure on the ECI for the second consecutive day, the Speaker will now decide whether to allow the motion, potentially triggering a full-scale showdown on the floor of the House. Anand is joining me. Anand, back to you on this.
Yeah, even as we just mentioned that how Gaurav Gogoi has mentioned one of the adjournment motion notices in the Lok Sabha. Similarly, Congress whip Manikam Tagore, who is also a Lok Sabha MP from Tamil Nadu's Virudhunagar, he has also submitted a notice in the lower house saying that how this electoral malpractice that is being taken up in the name of the special intensive revision of voter rolls by the Election Commission is a kind of fraud, and the way in which several lakhs of voters have been removed earlier in the state of Bihar. So clearly he has mentioned that this needs to be discussed, and he has demanded for suspending the other businesses and discussing the SIR exercise inside the Lok Sabha, so that proper discussion should be held on the same. As he also mentioned that the way in which the SIR exercise is being carried out in 12 states and union territories, we are seeing that how there are lakhs of voters who are being removed, who are said to be eligible, but they are being removed from the electoral roll. So clearly this is one demand that the opposition members are raising in the Parliament winter session, and even today they have raised this issue, as there will be a protest at 10:30 am at Makardwar in Parliament, in which several of the opposition parties will join the protest over these electoral reforms as well as on the SIR issue, as the opposition members have made it very clear that they wanted the discussion on the SIR exercise that is being taken up by the Election Commission across the country. Back to you, Ashwin.
All right, Anand, thank you for joining me. And now, a suspicious boat